Bad news for those of us who oppose fascism coming out of the UK. A man from Oldham who traveled 2,000 miles to Ukraine to side with the Donbass soldiers, the ethnic Russian area, against the fascists that are running the government currently in Ukraine, and a lot of the Azov battalion and many of the other militias, has been arrested and jailed on terrorism charges. Police began investigating Benjamin Stimson, 41, after he left his home in Oldham in 2015 and traveled to Moscow before he illegally entered a war-torn Ukraine. Now, at the time the conflict was going on, Ukrainian government forces were fighting Russian-backed militias. Stimson, who has not actually revealed his exact reasons for going and joining the Donbass fighters, although we can probably guess he's an anti-fascist. That's primarily the reason why you would do that. Was interviewed by a journalist while he was serving in the Donbass militia in eastern Ukraine in October of 2015. Now, having fought on the front line of a Russian-backed militia, he returned to the UK in November 2015 and was arrested upon his arrival at Manchester Airport. Now, among the items seized from him was his military clothing. Now, a big question is, why did this happen? Is there any law that specifically says that you're not allowed to join the Donbass or the Crimea, the whole region? Is there an actual law that says you can't? No, but there are anti-terrorism laws that can be very loosely applied to anything they want. Remember, the definition of terrorism is so absolutely vague that it could encompass just about anything. But why would the UK government actually do this? You would think that Britain, the country who gave a great deal in fighting the Nazis in World War II, if you count when they were allying with them, during certain periods, you would think that they would appreciate this man's effort to fight fascism. Well, you see, the problem is the reason why he was arrested and was given terrorism charges is because the Ukraine, the fascists in there, are backing the government. The government is basically pseudo-fascist with actual fascist militias backing them up, as I said, the Azov battalion. Those are being backed by the West in a power struggle between the West and Russia. After the government fell and the Nazis started taking over from a U.S.-backed government, Russia decided that they were going to do whatever it is they felt was necessary to protect the ethnic Russians that were living inside of the country. And thus they began helping form Donbass and other regions in order to protect those ethnic Russians from the rising fascism inside the country. And you can see in many of their banners, yes, they very much are fascist. You can see them from their own battle cry, Slava Ukrainia. You can see it from them destroying World War II monuments to the soldiers who liberated Ukraine from Nazi occupation, and all kinds of things like that. And this just goes very much to show that the West does not care who it is that they back, as long as they can get what they want. If it's backing Al-Qaeda or it's funding ISIS, they will do it. In this case, they will even do it if it's fascist. Remember, Barack Obama, even a black man, didn't seem to have any qualms whatsoever with handing over weapons, equipment, and money to people who would literally put him in a death camp. But that's just a part of more of the politics that we see inside the situation in Ukraine, and why it's definitely necessary for us to back the rebels in Donbass, etc., because they are the ones fighting fascism. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.